The following video introduces the text-neutral course concept as a manner of achieving a personalized learning environment. A text-neutral setup allows individual personalization regarding learning style, the ability to teach a course effectively while potentially every student is using different learning resources from one another. Students never get behind in coursework due to waiting for course materials to arrive. This approach gives the instructor the ability to see which course concepts need further attention, and when a new text, website, or other learning resource becomes available, it is instantly a welcomed addition. Your course is a candidate for this approach if 1. There are a multitude of learning resources available for your topic, preferably a number of public domain sources on the internet, as well as a community of interested individuals that post videos, blogs, and other content. 2. If you have the time and energy to invest in the initial setup. In most cases, we believe if you want to do it, you can figure it out and make creative adjustments as needed for your particular course topic. This presentation has 4 parts. First, we will give some background and describe the challenges of both the text-required course as well as the text-less course. Second, we will detail the text-neutral concept, structure, and setup. Third, we will show our current results. Finally, we will invite discussion, questions, concerns, and creative additions to this approach. So here we go. The background. Our initial goal was to improve our music theory course delivery. Music theory is a topic required of all music performance, education, composition, and music therapy majors, and it is universally taught as 4 separate semester courses at all universities and conservatories in the country. The typical text resource is an expensive course pack costing upwards of $400 per student. Some professors have elected to create their own textbook, but this is a multi-year endeavor, and in the end the result possesses many of the same challenges of adopting a published text. At first, we had the desire to create a text-less course in hopes to address the expensive costs to our students. This was thought possible because the bulk of music theory curriculum has existed for some time, and there are a multitude of internet resources, many in the public domain. However, our brainstorm revealed that there are multiple problems associated with both the text-required course as well as the text-less or internet-based course. The issues with the text and workbook required course are: 1. The books are expensive, costing upwards of $400 for our topic. 2. No text is perfect. Each has pros and cons. Each is usually geared towards 1 or 2 types of learners. And we have yet to see a text that does not have significant typos or errors. 3. Students find the book confusing. While not true in all cases, our experience is that several students have trouble comprehending technical passages and benefit from other approaches. 4. Many students wait until the first day of class to see if they really need the text for class. Then they order it online to save money and fall behind in the first week's assignments because they are waiting for the materials. 5. Many students choose not to buy books and will go to great lengths of effort to avoid doing so. 6. There are constantly new resources popping up, and the money-conscious professor will feel reluctant to use those new resources when they have required their students to purchase an expensive text. 7. Many students tend to go to the internet as a supplement or replacement to their learning materials. Today's freshmen in college have had the internet their entire lives, and it is second nature for them to use the internet as their first source for knowledge. 8. Unlike a text or workbook, online resources can often give interactive and instant feedback to students. There are also significant issues with a text-less and internet-based course. 1. Reliability. If you build a course or even one topic dependent on a third-party website, there's a chance that that website could change or disappear completely. 2. New resources constantly appear. Just like a text, if you structure the syllabus around one resource, it becomes difficult or at least cumbersome to incorporate new resources as they become available. 3. Some students really do prefer a physical text. While the trend is that students prefer online resources, there are some that would rather purchase a text and have the budget to do so. 4. If we switch away from a text-based curriculum, publishers will be concerned. 5. Transfer universities may be concerned with the validity of a course if it does not incorporate a text from a recognized publisher. Enter the text-neutral concept. The text-neutral delivery allows a thorough education of course topics. It successfully addresses all learning styles. It provides a variety of affordability options, and it is instantly adaptable to new technologies as they are invented. If someone wants to learn a fact or even a complex task, the first action is almost always to search the internet. Ambitious students can learn nearly any one item on their own. What they cannot do is organize an entire semester's scope and sequence of a topic. They need us to be the streamliners of the information. Our text-neutral approach uses a consistent structure for each concept. 1. Objective. 2. Learning resources. 3. Context, which we call examples in music. 4. Self-assessment. 5. Quiz. 6. Optional discussion. This is what every submodule looks like per objective set up in SPC's My Courses. Here is an example of an objective. Here is a layout of the learning resources to master that objective. The first learning resources is telling the student you can figure it out. This empowers them to be able to seek out their own solution to problems through internet searches or their preferred learning modality. It also gives them a stronger sense of accountability that they are ultimately responsible for learning the concept. We make available examples of video lessons, online reading, interactive lessons, most of which already exist on the web. If any of these become dead links, we ask students to tell us, but we also emphasize that students should not let that prevent them from learning the concept, because ultimately they can figure out another solution to learn the objective. Next on the list, we have a recommended text, and we list the chapter in which the objective appears. Students are also able to use other texts that they may possess. Finally, the SPC Quick Think are bullet point instructions that explain the concept in a very bare bones manner. Quick Thinks need not be extensive explanation with several examples, as detailed presentations already exist. Quick Thinks can help get a student on the right track and are a fallback just in case all the other resources disappear. We then present the objective in context. For music theory, we call it examples in music. These are in-house videos that allow us to have an SPC connection with the material and show how an isolated objective functions within the real world. Every objective has a self-assessment. Since students are all gaining their knowledge from different chosen resources, they need to have the ability to make sure they are learning the concept as we intend. This also gives students a preview of the format of the graded quiz. Quizzes are one per objective. There is also a midterm and a final that assess multiple objectives in one test. Some instructors elect to give a few in-class written examinations as well. An optional discussion section for each objective allows for students to have student-to-student interaction, additional student-to-instructor interaction, and students are able to post research and results of their experience learning an objective. If they find a new resource that really worked for them, we ask that they share it, and we update our learning resource options accordingly. There is a significant amount of setup time and effort needed to build the course in this way. 1. You must write very clear objectives, and you must think these through in terms of scope, the amount of information taught, and sequence, the order in which each objective appears. 2. You have to create the SPC bullet point quick thinks. 3. You have to compile multiple learning resources, ideally with examples of video, online written examples, interactive examples, and chapters of the recommended text. 4. Create the context examples. 5. Create the self-assessment and quizzes. Depending on your degree of depth, the creation can take a very long time, often as long as 1 semester to create one course. Although there is a lot involved with the setup of the approach, we found the benefits to be worth it from both the student and teacher experience. 1. The course becomes very objectives focused rather than chapter focused. The students know exactly what they are to learn at all times, and this more closely follows the second quality matters standard. 2. There is more student ownership of learning, and students have the tools and resources to be successful at this. 3. Internet searching is a life skill that we all use now, and this format strengthens that skill. 4. When new editions of text and resources appear, they are instantly welcomed rather than feeling bound to a text that was adopted at the beginning of the semester or years ago. 5. The text itself is not abandoned. We have a recommended text and it is listed on our syllabus as optional. This refocuses the publisher's effort onto the student. Publishers will have to make their content outstanding and price it reasonably to entice a student to make it one of their learning resource options. 6. Transfer universities do not have issue with this approach, as we do continue to meet or surpass national standards in music theory. 7. Our students have never fallen behind because they are waiting for resources. Now we'll discuss the results we have experienced in our classrooms. At the time of this video, we have 4 separate courses set up in this manner. Some of the courses have been taught 3 semesters. Students have engaged in the course in several different ways. personalizing their experience. Some move through the objective submodule in the order we present. Some go straight to the quick think, then look at the other learning resources. Some read the objective and go straight to the self-assessment, then work backwards to the concept. Overall, we've experienced much higher levels of student engagement. Since every objective is assessed and grading is automated, a concept is never glossed over due to not enough time in lecture. Students are accountable for all course objectives, and they are given the tools to be successful, which leads to a more thorough understanding of course concepts. Students work at a much improved pace, and several work ahead of pace, with some examples of students finishing the course early. This does not create a cumbersome atmosphere for the instructor, and it allows for easier customization if a student does need more time or accommodations. If a student needs more attempts at a quiz and it makes academic sense, the professor has the ability to open them up, allowing the student added attempts to earn their grade. And you can approach this in a way that promotes student success without diminishing academic integrity. The automation function for assessments, which is optional to the text-neutral approach, is like having a virtual teaching assistant. This allows the professor to more quickly assess and focus energy where needed. Even within the first 3 semesters of using this format, several new resources, including the announced new edition of our recommended text, have appeared. We have not had to retool the course because of this. Each of those is now automatically part of the course. Here's an example of a gradebook of one course showing increased level of student engagement, learning, and accountability. Since one objective is assessed at a time, we know exactly which concept a student is having trouble with and can focus our energy to help that student. Our SSI feedback has been positive, and we have engaged student feedback to improve the process. One student from another college took the second course in our sequence. His primary college used different required texts in Theory 1 than the ones we used to require, but he was able to use those texts to complete the course rather than needing to buy another $400 set of materials. Another student had an older edition of the recommended text, and she was happy that that worked for this course. One student who went through the entire format in Theory 1 posted this on her self-introduction to the Theory 2 class. For all those that are new to this format, I can tell you that it is amazing. I took Theory 1 online in the spring, and this format incorporates so many different ways to learn a concept that it is almost guaranteed that you will understand even the most complex stuff. I am really looking forward to the next leg of the journey. At this time, we'd like to open it up for questions, discussions, and comments. Please feel free to post comments below. We do not shy away from differing opinions, and we look forward to engaging in conversation.